Welcome, everybody. I'm John Paul Mendocha, Dr. Speed Selling. This is the Raging Verbalist number 133. Hard to believe. 133, getting dangerously, perilously close to real summer here in the Northern Hemisphere. Since I have this belief that maybe there are people around the globe that are watching this. So just so everybody knows, because somebody will say, no, it's getting to be winter. Anyway, so with me as always, though, playing through the pain. And we won't even go into that, but the ever lovely Sandra. Sandra, welcome.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Glad that you were able to make it. It was nip and tuck there, but she is playing through it. Maybe someday when she is all better, we'll hear about it. Send your nice comments down below. Obviously, you can join us on YouTube. Subscribe, hit the notification button, hit the like button. Do all of those things. If you want to leave comments, leave nice comments. Why wouldn't you leave nice comments? And you can always join us in the Facebook group for a Position to Win book. And away we go. Well, okay, Sandra, what is our topic for today? What are we talking about?
We are talking about the Triple Crown. So,
yeah,
did you watch all? Yeah.
Well, but before we do that, I heard that one of and we're going to have to put together. Maybe we have to do a GoFundMe page or something, because Sandra, as a very young Nebraskan, did not have a chance to do barrel racing, and and so maybe we, or go to Make-A-Wish, or something. So, anybody out there who can help her fulfill that dream of barrel racing,
there you go.
Send that in, because that is tied to the equine. So, all right, well, more to our serious topic at hand. But I just wanted to say that, because we're here to solve your problems, but also let us solve problems too. So
that's right. That's good. Very good. Very noble. Thank you.
Got it.
All right. So did you watch all the races of the Triple Crown?
I did. It's kind of a tradition for me. In fact, I DVR all of them because I find it fascinating. Of course, years ago, I used to spend a lot of time at the track when I was in my gambling period. I'm thinking of, since I should name these, just like, there was a Jurassic period. I just called it my gambling period. But I used to watch the races actually from a very young age, and carried on that tradition. Don't follow racing as much as I used to, but I do watch the Triple Crown. So it was watched every single race, and there was some excitement. There was some chills and spills, but away we go.
And what are those three races of the Triple Crown?
So there's the Kentucky Derby in Louisville, Kentucky, and it is a kind of a big mob scene. You have a lot of people who have never gone to a horse race before in their life. I had a friend of mine who would call me up actually while he was driving there, and he goes, John, tell me how to bet and not lose money. And I went, okay, that's kind of a little bit of an oxymoron. But so there's the Kentucky Derby, which is of course traditional. It's in May, first Saturday in May, and then the next is the Preakness, and that's out of Baltimore, so it's in Maryland. And by the way, all of them have their own songs. I was thinking that maybe each of them, just to make sure that we had covered it extensively, that each of them, that Sandra and I would sing a duet for each of these songs. But then, we decided we'll save that. I'm sure that there's a little bit of sadness out there, but we'll save that. And then there's the longest race, which is the Belmont in New York. And in fact, it is called, that is the big giant wall, because it goes up in length, and it is a stamina race. So each race has its own particular flavor to it. It's done over 5 weeks and 3 different venues. Very cool. And it has been kind of picked up by the whole concept of a Triple Crown. The Triple Crown of this, Triple Crown of that, but this is the original Triple Crown.
All right. What makes this such a difficult task to accomplish?
Well, for those of you who don't know a lot about horse racing, these are all 3-year-olds, so they're not very old for horses. And in fact, they start racing horses at 2 years old. Also, there's a kind of a weird thing, which is horses all have a birthday in January. So you have young 2-year-olds, and old 2-year-olds, young 3-year-olds, old 3-year-olds. But they do that just as kind of a equalizer. And what it makes it such a difficult task is that 3 different courses. So there's travel involved. find it interesting that this is bunch of the stuff started in the 1800s. So traveling, moving a horse was probably not as easy. They put it on a train. Now they truck them around and everything. And it's 5 weeks and 3 races, which is today's thoroughbreds. It's a pretty tall task. Always was, but that it's a pretty tall task.
Was there a Triple Crown winner this year?
Well, there wasn't a Triple Crown winner because we had an amazing upset this year in the Kentucky Derby, and we had Rich Strike came in, and this was a horse. There's a thing called the claiming race. The claiming race means you can go in, and if you're a trainer or an owner, you can claim a horse, and those who own the horse can't do anything because as long as you pay the claiming price, you get to get the horse. And they picked up this horse for really a song. And Rich Strike had the ride of his life, and won the Kentucky Derby. Is I think an 80-1 shot or whatever it was. It was huge. I mean, it's it's just crazy. And typically, the racing public, because of the way the horse world is set up, is that the favorites win with regularity, but this is the thing of magic. So Rich Strike had the run of his life. You want to go check out that if you go to YouTube and go look up and watch that and watch it, and you'll see something rather amazing. So there wasn't a Triple Crown winner because Rich Strike then, because of the Preakness, decided not, or the owner and trainer decided they weren't going to run in the Preakness. Which is kind of interesting. They said, well, our horse doesn't run as often as you need to because it's like 2 weeks from the Kentucky Derby to the Preakness. And so a horse called Early Voting won. And there you go. And in fact, Early Voting was kind of a surprise, because there was a favorite that lost in the Kentucky Derby, and they thought, okay, going to come back to the Preakness and show his dominance. Well, that didn't happen either. So yet another kind of an upset. It's been kind of one of those upset years, right? I mean, we've had a bunch of that. And then the winner of the Belmont, because the winner of the Preakness decided, hey, we lost in the Derby, we lost in the Preakness, not coming to the Belmont. So Belmont, the giant mountain to climb, and Mo Donegal won the Belmont. And what happened by winning the Belmont, again, it wasn't, Rich Strike, who had won the Derby, was not the favorite at all. Mo Donegal had a lot more interest in him. And sadly, Rich Strike finished 6th and was not his day. He didn't run that perfect race they ran in the Derby. Now, if you're not running the race that you should be running, if you're not doing the things that you should be doing, well, I have a suggestion for you. I have something that can help you, which is to go out and go to positiontowinbook.com, and check out Most Businesses Fail in the First 5 Minutes. Remember that you do not have 5 minutes in horse racing, and go out and pick up Why Most Businesses Fail in the First 5 Minutes. And we talk about all kinds of things about how to position yourself to win and also not to fail. Now, each and every time I watch a race, it's fascinating how many times the word position or positioning gets brought up, and that it starts off with, did they get the right starting gate? Did they get the right pole position? Did they break well? Were they positioned for that last push and that last run? So the word position or positioning and variations of that get mentioned a lot in horse racing, and it should be mentioned a lot about business. So go check out positiontowinbook.com. You can pick it up there. Also, if you want to send in anything that you want me to say, as long as it's not too rude, I'll sign it and do that. Also, you can go to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million. You can get the physical copy. If you want to get the digital, of course, it's available Kindle, Nook, and Apple. All right, so there we are. Sandra, what do we have next? What is our next exciting step through the Triple Crown?
How many Triple Crown winners have there ever been?
So when this thing kind of got pulled together and contrived, if you will, right? Because somebody realized that you could, it's great to have one, and these are called stakes races, and this is like the peak, the pinnacle of horse racing, right? Because you want to build a crowd, you want to get excitement, you want to bring in the public that doesn't normally do it. So as they put this together in the 1800s and started getting all this stuff happening, they say, oh, here you go. And we have had so far 13, lucky 13, or you could say a baker's dozen horses have in fact achieved this feat. And it is a massive, difficult feat. We went through big dry spells in which people said it was too big a task, it'll never happen, you can't really do this ever again. Horses of today just aren't built for it. By the way, they've been breeding horses for a very long time for speed. It's just quite an astonishing thing. So 13 so far. And every year, of course, there is always the excitement, the anticipation. Will we have that horse, that super horse, that horse that's going to go and do those amazing things and win the Triple Crown? And when Rich Strike happened as that amazing long shot, the question was this that year? And the answer, of course, sadly, is no. So yeah, 13 so far, Sandra.
When was the last one?
Well, the last Triple Crown winner was in what do we say? 2018 was Justified. I had to go look at my notes. 2018 was Justified. And again, a surprise. People loved it. I mean, but there was a gap because, let me just step back in history. 1978, Affirmed won. And by the way, if you are interested in watching just amazing races and the anticipation, even though this is a long time ago, 1978, there were two horses, Affirmed and Aladar, and they competed against each other in each leg of the Triple Crown. And Affirmed was always just a little better than Aladar and won the Triple Crown in 1978. And we skipped from 1978 to American Pharoah in 2015. Long gap. But you should go check those out. All of these, here's the crazy part, which is, I think really cool, is that you can go watch all of these races on YouTube, and even the old races, they've enhanced the video or enhanced the footage and improved it. So yeah, the last one was in 2018, was Justified, and or Justify, and Justified was a TV show. But anyway, different thing. So yeah, but that was the last one that they had, and very, very cool. And it's really exciting because it takes a special horse to do that.
So which one was the best one?
Well, the best one overall, in my opinion, was Secretariat. Secretariat was the super horse of super horses, setting track records over and over again. 1973, I actually remember watching each and every one of those races. That was the year I started in my business career. So 49 years ago, I'm standing there with my mother watching, because she kind of had an interest in horse racing, but again, this was like a deal. But she did not watch sports on TV like at all, but she wanted to watch the horse race. And we watched Secretariat win the Kentucky Derby, amazing horse, win the Preakness, still very interesting. And then the question was, would that big giant horse win? Could he scale the peak? Because remember, we had a really big gap to 73, and Secretariat destroyed, and I mean destroyed, the field at Belmont that day. Set the record, which still stands today, 49 years later, for the Belmont Stakes, and won by, and it's even just today, makes, gives me a little tingle, 31 lengths. 31 lengths beat the field. And, and the jockey wasn't, even, in the end, you can watch it really not just pushing, but the horse just ran and ran and ran. The horse that I always found interesting, because by that time was, when I was doing the gambling stuff, is in 1978, Seattle Slew, or 77, he won it, but 78, I saw Seattle Slew in California, but 77. And the cool thing about Seattle Slew is he had won every single race. Secretariat had lost some early races. He had won every single race all the way up and through the Triple Crown. And we were a little bit spoiled, just a few years, and then we had Seattle Slew. Was he as great a horse as Secretariat? Because of course, horse people will say, well, if this one ran against this one, what would happen? Doesn't matter. It's when you run is when you run. When you're born is when you're born. And I always liked Seattle Slew. And but then we got spoiled because 1 year later, Affirmed and Aladar won. And we thought, there we go. These guys have figured it out. Because of all of the, better nutrition, better health, better this, better that. Every year we're going to have a Triple Crown winner, and well, we were wrong. So, that's what. So those were the days, if you will. But yeah, to me, Secretariat, absolutely the best of the best.
So I understand that there is talk of altering the format of the Triple Crown. Can you explain that?
So we live in an era when everybody thinks they have a better idea and that we're going to fix something that doesn't need to be fixed. And in my mind, we do not, under any circumstance, under any way, any shape or how, need to fix the Triple Crown. But what they say is that it is 5 weeks, it's too short a period. The races are too disparate. It's too hard to do. And therefore, we're going to have to, figure this out and make sure that this happens. To me, I think it's an absolute mistake. I mean, Rick Strike, they decided not to run the horse. The trainer understood that. We've seen this before. That there have been horses that lost in the Belmont because people held out horses just to run in the Belmont and beat somebody. That's why we do racing. That's why we have the race. So they're talking about stretching it out, giving them more time. This just kind of fits in. And here in the Raging Verbalist, we don't veer off much into politics, but this is like, I don't know, the wimpy of the world that we keep doing. Let's figure out how to jigger the rules. We see it in every major sport that they keep doing it. How do we make it more exciting? Well, okay. If you want to go scale a mountain, the answer isn't, well, let's cut off the top of the mountain and make it shorter so more people can get there. Make it where they have to do it. We've been doing it for all this time. It's a great tradition. And I am of the traditionalist camp, which is, you know what? You leave it the way it is and you see if horses have what they need to have to make do and make it happen. So that's my firm belief. Call me a traditionalist as far as horse racing is concerned.
All right. So with that, what lessons from the Triple Crown can you apply to your career or business?
I think the interesting lessons that come out of the Triple Crown is, first off, it shows that life in general has variety, that you are going to have to compete in different environments. We're going into a different environment today. I hear lots of pessimistic, negative talk, warranted in many cases, but there's always negative, pessimistic talk. And when you're going to be in those kind of rough waters, when you're going to have to deal with those different distances and what you have to do, some days you'll be bested, some days you won't. I think what you learn is that you don't have somebody to go jiggle the rules for you and make it easier or not easier. When people say that things aren't fair, well, get over that. The sooner you get over that, that's what I think you're going to learn. And then maybe you make a decision. Well, I'm not going to run in this race. Well, that's fine, because as Peter Drucker said, conscious abandonment. And let me just take a step away from necessarily horse racing. Drucker said something really profound, which changed my life. And I saw him live 7 times. Drucker talked about this concept of conscious abandonment. And at the time, I was so ensconced and so believing that, if we just have a powerful, positive attitude, hang in there, persist until you make it and all of that. And what Drucker said is that at some point in time, you may find out that you're on the wrong road, or that the game isn't going to work out for you, or this isn't going to happen. And conscious abandonment, I'm not saying that you start everything with 1 foot out the door. That's not what we're talking about. Be 100% committed to what you're doing. Be 100% committed to what has to happen. Go for it as much as you possibly can. But if you have to give it up, you got to give it up. If you don't think you're going to be able to win the Belmont, then go find another race in a game that you can win. So to me, the metaphorical lessons that we can learn from this is that we watch how many hundreds and then thousands globally horses that are bred take place. And then we get down to the Kentucky Derby and they have, some would argue too many. I think they have up to 20 horses. That's a lot. They used to limit it before. But by the time we get to the Belmont, we're down to 8, 10 horses, sometimes as few as 6, because everybody knows that this is the mountain that's tough to climb. How it applies to your business and your career is you've got to be able to run on different tracks, on different days, and put out the energy you have to put in. If you do that, if you learn that lesson, if you watch these, to me, that's more inspiring than somebody having a picture of a little kitty dangling by its claws, a little kitten saying, hang in there, baby. Well, great, but you know what? I don't want you to be on the ledge. I want you to figure out how to overcome that. And if you do that, I think you're going to learn an awful lot. So what I hope you've learned from this is that go out there and watch the races, because I think they're fun and inspirational, but more importantly, learn the lessons, which is you have to figure out how you're going to win the race that you're running today. And if you do that, you're going to be more successful and get to where you want to go. And with that, I want to thank Sandra, even though she's playing hurt, but she came on, trooper that she is. See, she put it out no matter what. Thank you, Sandra. And I want to thank you. Please subscribe, hit the notification, hit the like, send a comment, and also start thinking about, well, as soon as the Kentucky Derby is over for this year, there are horse people, horsemen, women, whatever you want to identify yourself as, who start thinking about, can I win next year's Kentucky Derby? Question is, can you win your Kentucky Derby, your Preakness, your Belmont, your Triple Crown in whatever industry, whatever business, whatever career that you're in? And with that, Raging Verbalist 133 is done.